Okay, give us some feedback on your recruiting process, because I'll just joke with you now, but you signed before the basketball season started. And why?
I was fortunate to have Coach Peterson in my life. He looked out for me as far as my grades and things of that nature. You know, I ended up taking the SAT test pretty early. I took it, I think, the end of my sophomore year. I took it twice my junior year. So the start of my senior year, I had already passed it. I think I can't remember my score at this point, but I know it was over 900, probably I think like 1,000, something like that. But that was a collective score. But I'm past the clearinghouse, so now all of the schools that that really wanted to recruit me were coming after me. I was recruited heavily by Mercer, by Butler, by Loyola, Chicago, Tennessee at Martin. I went on like 4 or 5 visits, man. Like I said, it was awesome. It was coaches coming by the house every other day, and I just didn't see. I didn't see any time that I shouldn't be wasting any time with carrying it on the whole.
Well, you didn't waste no time.
Wondering where I'm going, the following year, and trying to figure all of those things out, man. A lot of the other guys said I should have waited. Bob, me and Bob always talked a lot when we were getting recruited, me and Troy, and it was like, man, why don't you wait? It's some better schools out there, some bigger schools that want you. You know what I'm saying? Just wait it out a little bit,
Yeah.
But the second signing or the second date to open up for anybody to sign a letter of intent wasn't until like April or something, and I was just always the one who wanted to be prepared, wanted to just know where I wanted to be and not have to worry about it. So, if something happens during the season, I don't have to worry about it. I already signed a letter of intent, guaranteed 4 years of playing basketball at Division I level for the next 4 years. So I just went on ahead and made that jump, man, and Mercer was talking really good. They wanted me to come down and start. They weren't a real strong team at that time. They were trying to rebuild. But they had recruited me along with 2 other freshmen, and we were going to start. That was the only reason I went to Mercer. My plan was to go to Tennessee. And when I talked to those guys in Tennessee, talked to the coach and everything, the main thing was I was probably going to be redshirted. Well, it wasn't probably, it wasn't. I was going to be redshirted and have to sit. And I just didn't want to sit. And I talked to Doc about it. And I didn't want to have to sit out at any time, But looking back on things now would have helped me, get stronger, build up, build my body up, learn the system and all of that. But I chose to go to Mercer. I had a real good time, man. It was 30 miles away from Atlanta. A lot of the guys on the team were from Atlanta, and I had a lot of fun with it. We had a hell of a schedule. We played Duke, we played Georgia, we played Kansas State. The schedule was awesome. Over the 2.5 seasons that I spent with them. And,
what happened after your 2 years, 2.5 years?
I was just real unhappy, man. I gotta admit, I got home. I got kind of homesick. None of my family and friends could see any of the games unless we had maybe a TV game, which we didn't have very many TV games. And I just got real unhappy, man. It didn't seem like fun anymore. Basketball should always be fun, and it didn't seem like fun anymore. It just became more like work.
Yeah.
And it was at that point when I decided, I want to play, but I want to finish school. So I tried to transfer to a couple of other schools, and then it just became more so I want to finish school as opposed to trying to play basketball. Basketball is always important. If that's what you want to do, it's important if that's what you want to do. But then it comes a time where you have to say to yourself, well, I still gotta get an education. Out of doing all of this and going to school free, or I got, they using me, so I got to get something out of them. So I ended up, graduating from college. I got a degree out of it. Didn't get a chance to go play for money or anything like that, but at the very minimum, anybody who gets a scholarship at the minimum should get that degree. That's the minimum.
Any regrets not playing more after 2.5 seasons?
Only regret I have, man, is that I don't think I played hard enough. From high school, college, I did play hard. You know, I worked very hard when I got to college. You know, high school, I could have done a lot better. You know, but I'm not sorry for any of the things that I did.
Yeah.
You know, if anything, I would want to go back to make it better than what it was. But I'm not sorry for any of the things I did, man. I think I had a really good career. Like I said, man, I joined one of those elite groups. You know what I'm saying? That only members of the Central team have made. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who played varsity at Central, knowing how rich the history is here, knowing how people play in the city. You know how the guys at that time were playing, and how much basketball was in their blood. Man, it was a privilege. You know, and to even be interviewed, you know, is an awesome thing. You know what I'm saying? Those guys.
One of the big debates that we have on the website is about best players in school history. So I want to get from you is you know who you consider you know the best starting five of all time at East Chicago Central and the best player that ever played East Chicago Central. So let's start with point guard.
Wow, man. I mean, that's tough. And the reason why, and I need to make this known, man. The reason why that's tough, man, is because there's been a lot of great players to come through Central, man. A lot of great players. But if I had to narrow it down to a five,
point guard.
and this is not slighting anybody. We talking about point guards, I would have to go with
Delmar Johnson.
I would have to go with Delmar Johnson. And that's not slighting anybody, man, because there's been a lot of other great point guards that come through there, man. You know, if I could just mention a couple guys, even though I picked Delmar, I mean, you still got Coop out there. You still had my man Troy Avery. You know, you got Bob that could have played the point, that played, you know, some point guard position. Wow, man, you got Wayne Jones, you know. I mean, these were some really awesome guards, man. You know, you got Charles Ricks. You know, these guys were, you know, great players.
Yeah.
You know, they own right. If I gotta just go with point guard, I gotta go with them.
Shooting guard.
Shooting guard. It's tough, man. Shooting guard, I think I would have to go.
Charles Ricks.
Yeah. With
Von Upshaw, Bob, Corey Stokes, Marcus Jefferson. Eachwan Moore.
I have to go with Charles Ricks, man. Gotta go with Chuck, man.
Okay.
Gotta go with Chuck, man. You know, but that's not to slight my man Coco either. You know.
Yeah.
Not to slight my man Coco. You know, I gotta go with Chuck, but I'm still putting Coco in my top five because Coco could always play to a dual position, man.
Okay.
So you know, just jumping the small forward without you having to ask, man, I have to go with Coco.
So he's better than Chris Woods, Marcus Jefferson, Eachwan Moore.
Coco?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, at that time, man, I mean, Coco in his prime, yeah.
Okay.
Coco in his prime, yes, man.
Okay.
I'm talking about being able to shoot, being able to drive, you know, just being smart with the basketball. Yeah.
Power forward.
No doubt Marlon Anderson. And then Marlon Anderson, that's my guy, man.
Marlon Anderson over you, Udi.
Yeah, you know, I'm not opposed to say that. I can't put myself in that.
KK,
know.
Short. I mean,
I'm not gonna say I can't put myself in that five, but I won't. You know, I won't, just out of respect for these other guys. Marlon by far, yeah, over me at that time. Marlon was a beast, man. He was. Period. You know, and Marlon was more than just a powerful. I mean, he could have played any position on the floor. You know, he could shoot, could dribble, could post. You know, but you know, Marlon was only 6 foot, about 6'4", man, 6'4.5". You know, 6'4". I mean, maybe 6'5". I think more like 6'4". And at the center position, I don't, man. That's tough.
Did Marlon Anderson play center?
He did, but I wouldn't put Marlon Anderson.
Okay, so who you gonna put at center then? You know, you got Rick Wright.
Well, I mean, that played true center. If you gotta say true center, you gotta say a true center, man.
I mean,
I have to go with a new breed of character, man. I have to go with a new breed. I have to put KK in there.
Okay, that's good. Solid center.
You know, I have to put KK in there, man, at center. And that ain't slight my boy Big Will, you know what I'm saying? But footwork wise and being able to make post moves and scoring with his back to the basket, man, I haven't seen any other big guy that size. And I mean, and even KK is undersized. You know, even KK is undersized, but by far his footwork was better when he was in high school than Big Will's was. But you know, Big Will wasn't no chump. You know what I'm saying? You know, Big Will had size. He had to, he could face the basket and shoot. But as far as footwork and just maneuvering around that bucket, just around the basket, 5 feet and in, no doubt, man. I gotta give it to the kid. I gotta go with a new breed, man.
So we got Delmar Johnson, Charles Ricks, Greg Arrington, Marlon Anderson, KK Short. Who is the best player of all time at East Chicago Central?
Best player of all time, East Chicago Central. Now that is definitely a tough one, man. Definitely a tough one, man. I don't know, man. I've always, and I know a lot of people probably disagree, but I've always been a fan of Marlon Anderson, man. Just always been a fan.
Best player ever at Central.
Best player, man. I mean,
so he's better than E'Twaun Moore.
Well,
he's better than Udi. He's better than all these guys. All these.
Yeah, I mean, some of the people you
Bob
name.
Smith.
Some of the people you name, yeah. I mean.
Coop, Robert Battle.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, Coop was good, man. Don't get me wrong. Them guys.
Judah
good,
Parks.
Man.
Is Marlon Anderson better than Judah Parks?
I mean, Judah was good. Like I said, man, this is not an easy question. You know what I'm saying? Because all these guys you naming were good, man. They were good players, man. They were excellent players. But my one pick, I gotta go with Marlon, man. I mean, Marlon, he did it all. And then you gotta think, man, Marlon didn't even get to play his senior year.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? This was a kid, man, who put in work, man, for 2-3 seasons. You know what I'm saying? And then his senior year, they try to cut him short.
Yeah.
And you can only imagine how far Central would have went if he would have played. And I don't think anybody on that team can deny that they would have done a lot better with him on the floor.
Yeah.
All
right.